What's up, YouTube? So right now you are on the roof of Outsider. As you can see, this is the hood right here. So I got a new setup for YouTube videos, a little gorilla stand and a microphone thing. Hopefully you can hear me better than you used to be able to hear me. If not, maybe I need to change my setup a little bit, but I'm kind of new to that part, so bear with me. Anyways, yesterday here in New York, it was 58 degrees. Yeah, rainy, but 58 degrees. I actually washed Outsider. Here's a picture of Outsider after I washed it. Now, it's less than 24 hours later. Alright? Less than 24 hours later. This is what we deal with here in Rochester, New York. Are you ready for this? Yeah. That's more than a foot of snow in less than 24 hours. But hey, that's life in New York. But today, in the garage, we're going to do some final body work on Outsider. I'll give you a couple tips on how to go around and find your little spots so you don't miss anything. It's not fun. I don't really like doing body work. I like doing the sheet metal part, but the body filler and sanding part, and sanding and sanding and sanding and sanding and sanding. Yeah, that's the part that sucks. Nobody likes that part, but we are close to the end. I am now back on Outsider, back on the 79 Camaro, and we'll get there soon. Soon, she'll have paint on her. But anyways, let's get working. Alright, so here we are on Outsider. We're going to go around the car here and find any little scratches or imperfections and stuff that need to be addressed before we move further. There is a coat of primer sealer on the car right now, as you can see, and you can see I've already touched a couple spots up. After I put the primer sealer on the car got moved outside because of another project, and it sat out there in just primer and sealer for, I don't know, 3 months or something. In that 3-month time span, it became apparent there were some spots that I didn't fix quite so well that showed up pretty quick because it was just in primer sealer, and there was some areas that maybe didn't have a really thick coat of primer sealer on them, but we fixed those spots. However, as some of you may know, this car has sat in the garage on this side for quite a while as I continued to build projects and do other things around it. Anytime you do that, you tend to bump into it with things and hit it and with jack handles and whatnot and scratch it and chip it up, and there's a nice scratch right here, scratch right here, another one right there on the bumper. There's stuff like that all over the car, so that's what I'm going to address today. We're going to get the scratch putty out and go around and touch stuff. Now, when there's small stuff like this and you've got hot scratch putty, by hot I mean already mixed, and you've only got a small amount of time to run around and do it, you kind of need to mark the spots. What I have here is soapstone, because if you mark it with a Sharpie, Sharpie doesn't really come off, and Sharpie bleeds through everything, even primer sealer. Bleeds right through it. So do not mark your car with Sharpie if you're going to be painting it. It's a bad idea. You could probably get away with a pencil, but dark colored pencil on a dark colored car doesn't always work so good. So soapstone is pretty common with welders, pipe fitters, because it shows up good on dark surfaces. So there's a spot here where the paint's all chipped off. It needs a really thin coat of scratch putty, nothing special, but I don't know if you can see that, but there's a white circle around that now. There's another small spot right there. Here's the one on the bumper that I'm worried about. Circle that one. But basically we're going to go around the car and do exactly this. Just mark it all up. Everywhere where there's a chip that needs to be addressed. You know, there's a marker, a scratch, or something that needs to be taken care of with a little bit of scratch putty. But if you can't see this here, I'll bring it in closer so you can see it. Alright, I'll make a mark here and I'll show you why we're using soapstone. So, there's your soapstone, right? Now there's not actually a mark there. Here's the nice part about soapstone. You can pretty much just wipe it off. It's kind of the whole point. When you get there with your scratch putty, you wipe it off quick with a rag and you put your scratch putty on. That's why I like soapstone. So, now I'm going to go around the car and mark all those spots. And then we'll get the scratch putty out. Alright, so I'm just going to tell you a little story here quick. Some of you might find it a little weird, but So this morning at about I don't even know, 5:30, something like that. We got one of those little cameras in my daughter's room, so we can hear, you know, and see what's going on. I hear her rustling around, so I kind of look up and I can see that she's up out of bed. So I get up and I go upstairs to check on her. Anyways, as I pass the back window of the house, I notice that the garage lights are on. Yeah, in the middle of the night. So I'm like, oh great, maybe somebody broke into the garage. But because we got so much snow last night, I could see that there were no footprints and nobody broke into the garage. Well, after I took care of things with my daughter, came back downstairs, I obviously couldn't go back to sleep without going out to check. So I threw some clothes on, whatever, came out here to check. And this is what I found. There's supposed to be a picture right here. Alright? Here's the old frame all busted up on the floor. Anyways, the picture fell, hit the fire extinguisher, and then turned the lights on. Well, it hit one switch, turned one set of lights on. Anyways, this picture is my grandfather. Handsome fella, huh? So, I had to go buy a new frame and stuff so we can put that back up on the wall, but I don't know. More spiritual people would, you know, think that meant something. Maybe it's a warning, maybe he's trying to, who knows. But there is a psychic fair in my town, well, in the area this weekend, going on right now in Batavia, New York. So, I don't know if I'll make it up there today, but I will probably go up there tomorrow. Just because. You know, maybe he's trying to tell me something. And go see what's going on up there. He's a good dude. He passed away when I was like 6 or 7, something like that. But hey, you never know. I can tell you what though. I was able to drive up my driveway, which is a hill, in 2-wheel drive. But I should probably snow blow the driveway. If the snowblower starts, because I haven't ran it at all this year. And I don't think I ran it even once last year, so it probably won't, but maybe we'll give that a shot. Alright, so nice part about this Gorilla stand is it also kind of works like a selfie stick. Which I don't know if that's a nice part or not. Selfie sticks. Yeah, anyways. Back to the pictures on the wall. We got Grandpa back up on the wall here, and yes, he's working under the hood of a car. You can't really tell in the picture. I'm pretty sure that's an old Lincoln, which is kind of strange since we're a Chevy family, but hey, you never know. Since we were looking at pictures on the wall, let's take a look at what else we got up here. Got some street stock racing pictures. A couple there from when I was racing street stocks, and there's one from when I was racing micros. Yeah, like I said, I did this before, micro racing, about 15 years ago. So here we go again. Bigger and faster. Yeah, it's snowing outside again. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna try to start the snowblower. Dig it out of the corner over there and see if it'll start, because I'm sure my wife would appreciate it. Well, it's running. I don't know how long it's gonna run, but it's running. That's why I sound muffled. Yeah, about to get it going. Woo! We're done snow blowing. We did break a shear pin though, so that sucks. Hopefully we were near the end. Oh. Whew, that sucked. Alright, now we can do some fun stuff. Alright, so we're ready to put some scratch putty on. Final finishing and scratches. This is what I use. Icing Light. It's made by USC. They make some pretty good products. I like this stuff because it tends to harden fairly quickly if you mix it correctly and you have the right temperature in your garage. And you know, if you put too much hardener in it, that's what this is, it will harden faster. Now, it's been sitting a little while, and again, when you go to buy it, you don't know how long it's been sitting on their shelf, so you want to knead it pretty good, get everything all mixed up in there before you start spreading this stuff out. I've gone around the car with some 400 grit and sanded down the areas I'm about to put this on. You want to make sure everything's scuffed good so it's got a good place to stick. Now, like I said, that car's been sitting a while, so I'm going to have to sand the whole car before I spray it again. I'll get a bucket in here with some water and some 400 grit, and we'll sand the whole car down again before I put primer sealer on it. And then after primer sealer, I will hit it with some high build. And then I get to go around the car and probably 800 or so and sand the whole car down again, nice and smooth. Alright, that's probably needed enough now. I don't have any big areas to do, just a bunch of little scratches and stuff. I found myself a paddle here in the drawer. Sorry, I couldn't get the camera back far enough that you could see my whole body and my face and everything, and still be able to see what I was doing here. But you'll get the gist of what I got going on here. I'll make sure this is good and clean. Normally, this stuff says to mix it on a non-porous surface. I usually have a piece of Lexan or a small piece of aluminum, but I can't seem to find any of that stuff right now. I don't seem to have anything around good for that. So we're going to use a piece of cardboard, which is not technically the right thing to use, but we're going to. Bear with me. I need this hardener up quick. So we don't need a ton because we're just going to fill some scratches and stuff in. So I'm going to squirt out maybe like a golf ball here, maybe a little bit less than a golf ball. Okay, like that. Try to keep it as clean as possible. I should have put some gloves on, but we're not going to do that. So, put a little stripe on here. Like that. That should be enough. The temperature in my garage is just below 60 right now. So, this should harden slowly. The warmer it is in your shop, the quicker it's going to harden. You see, I'm going to knead this all together here real quick. You don't want it too cold. This might actually be borderline too cold for what you're doing here. It's probably going to take a really long time to set up. But I live in New York, so I kind of got to work with what I got. I need all that color in there, get everything nice and uniform color. As you can see why you're not supposed to use a porous surface. You can see it's soaking into the cardboard here. But again, we're not doing a whole bunch. We're just hitting some spots quick. Now you don't want to mix too much of this up because like I said, especially if it's warm in your shop, it hardens quick. It'll start to harden up on you, and when it starts to do that, I will show you. But for right now, that's mixed fairly good. I'm going to scrape the edge of the paddle off, make sure I get all that blue hardener out of it. There we go. And then we'll put it on the car. So you don't need much on the paddle to do these little scratches and stuff. Bring a piece there, a little bit there. The more you put on, the more you got to sand off. Always remember that. Nick. Fender there. Trying to get it so I don't have to sand a ton, because that is not fun. Alright, so it's been probably 15-20 minutes or so. Probably about 20 minutes. This is the cardboard. I mean, I can still scrape it off with my fingernail, but that stuff's starting to harden already. You see, it starts, when you're kneading it, it'll start to do this. Start to look like this as it's starting to get hard. Now this is obviously too hard to put on the car, but it'll start looking like this, and it'll start rolling over on itself while you're working it, trying to put it on the car. And you'll know right away. I mean, the paddle, it just won't spread like it was spreading before. So, but I mean, stuff hardens pretty quick, even at 60 degrees. I mean, some on the car here. Sorry, I'm twisting the phone around since it's plugged into the wall. You know, I shouldn't have touched that, but it'll be a little while before I can sand it. In an hour or two, I probably could if I wanted to, but I don't think we're going to do that today. think I'm gonna go in the house and hang out with the kids and wife for a little while. I'm supposed to be going to dinner tonight for my birthday. Good times. So, you're not plugged into the mic right now. Hopefully the sound is okay. Hopefully you can even see me in the screen because I just spun the camera around. But as usual, keep it creative and happy building. I forgot to tell you, sorry. Main reason I like this stuff is it's really easy to sand. That's a good thing. So, like I said before, keep it creative and happy building.